Welcome back to another video. Got my hair cut, by the way. Probably should have said that. I actually had it in the last video, but maybe it wasn't too obvious. Let me know what you think. I always do the thing where I go from like really long hair and then one day I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I want to shave it all off. And I even have a video on my other channel where I literally film myself going from like really long hair to then just like a buzz cut. And I always go back and forth. Like as soon as I cut my hair, I want long hair again, and then once I have long hair, I want it short. So this decision of cutting my hair was not thought through. It was just something that I think it was like a Tuesday night, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna cut my hair. And then I went to the hairdresser that I usually go to, and I looked like, do they have any times? And they did the next day at like 10 a.m. So then the next day I woke up, went to that place, cut it off, and then here we are. So yeah, that's typically what I'm like. As soon as I want to cut my hair, I want it off like the second that I think of it. So that's why I sometimes end up just like shaving it off myself, because literally because I just don't have the patience to wait for a time at the hairdresser. But yeah, I always struggle with it. I feel like I look decent in long hair, and I feel like I look decent in short hair, and it's like I don't know which one is the best, and I don't think there is an answer to that, obviously. I think it's all like personal preference, pretty much like the thing that we have in the app. Come back later. If we go here, Wu Wei means effortless action. Skip. And here I've written, you might not be what they like, and they might not be what you like. Some people like cats, some people like dogs. You can't be a cat and a dog. You can't be red and blue. And this is based on the idea that, well, some people have a favorite color, which is like red. Some people have a favorite color, which is blue. Some people who have the favorite color red think that blue is like the worst color they could ever see. And some people that have blue think that red is the worst color they can ever see. Why is that? Who knows? And same with like hairstyles, I guess. There's some people that think that long hair is like the worst thing that you could ever have. And then there's some people that think that short hair is like the worst thing that you could ever have. So asking random people what they think of my hairstyle, I'm not trying to say that you're random. You're obviously very special. But essentially asking like a large group of people what hairstyle I should have is gonna be, it's not gonna say a whole lot, I don't think, unless there's like, at least not for me personally, I don't think, because I don't feel like I look strange with long hair. I don't feel like I look strange with short hair. There are some people I think that it's sort of obvious that obviously you look way better when you have long hair, or obviously you look way better when you have short hair. But I feel like that's not the case for me. So then it just comes down to personal preference. Like, what do you generally like? Do you like long hair or short hair? And that's like asking someone, what do you think of my favorite color? Do you think, is my favorite color your favorite color? It's not going to tell you a whole lot. So anyway, with that said, we're done, I think, with the tutorial of the app. I haven't done a tutorial for like the matches page or the profile page. I don't know how far to go with the tutorial, because I feel like the tutorial, maybe it's enough to just have a tutorial for the main function of the app, which is the phone call. But then we also have the other part to it, I guess. Which is the, let's reset this. All right, let's reset. And then we can accept, I think. Good, return to call, leave. So the thing that I was thinking about is, should we have like a tutorial for this now when you have a match that, okay, once you're matched with someone, you again cannot have a text conversation, because sometimes I feel like the Apple reviewers think that you can still have text conversations somehow, which you absolutely cannot. So maybe we need to explain this part too, that once you've matched with someone, you can press, you get one more phone call with that person. And if they accept, you get into this place where you're actually in a call. What is happening here? What is going on? Phone calls worked last time I checked. All right, we're getting kind of close to the whole thing. I think we've managed to make the backend work with basically setting the callers to be ready before connecting them into a call. The reason for this is that we don't want to run up users' minutes before they even accept the phone call, if that makes sense, or before both users have accepted. Because right now what's happening is you have a limited amount of minutes every single month that you can do phone calls for. And right now, when you get connected into a phone call, this is what happens. Maybe I need to reset. You get this window here, and if I press accept here, the phone call starts. So the phone call actually has started now. I can't talk to anyone because this person has not accepted yet, but the minutes are running down, which doesn't really make sense. And then if this person decides to skip, then what happens is, or what should happen, is that you basically run down your minutes in a phone call with someone who never connected. So let's see now, if we rerun this with the new changes implemented. And then we reset. I don't really know what should happen right now, because essentially I don't know what happens if I press accept and the other person hasn't pressed accept. Do we end up in the phone call screen or do we end up somewhere else? I don't really know what Claude has done there. What should probably happen is we should end up somewhere else. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that's what's going to happen in the future when we do this. This is what I've been doing while waiting for Claude to answer. I figured, why not draw while I'm waiting for these things to happen? And it actually worked kind of nice. You can just sit and draw a little bit and then you wait for the thing, because I want to get better at drawing, but I just don't practice enough. So this is a good way to kind of get two birds with one stone. All right, let's test it. See what happens. All right, this is the way that it's been before. Press accept. Nothing changed. All right, we're gonna have to come back to this, but here is the output. Nothing changed, by the way. All right, we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to come back to this tomorrow, but thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little thing. We're moving along. We're not moving along at a fast pace, but we're moving along nonetheless, and hopefully we're not too far off from this being ready to push for another review to Apple, but we'll see. I also want to say just thank you so much for supporting the channel by watching these videos. We've been getting more views than it's been slowly like increasing, which also means that I'm like making more money. I'm not making a lot of money from this channel, but it's more nonetheless. It's been like $10 a month, something like that, forever, or lower rather, but 10 or lower. Now we're like at $20, which I don't know what that means, but for some reason, making a little bit more money. So that gets me excited, not only because of like that there's money there, but there's also that's an indication that there are more people like watching in general, because per video the views are low enough that it doesn't really make any, like it makes like maybe $0.50 or something per video, but what is leading to the increase in the total amount over a month is the fact that there's more views throughout the channel, which is really cool. So it's still far, far, far away from me being able to like support myself based on the revenue from this, but we're moving in that direction, and that's a really cool thing, because then it means that if I can support myself based off of the revenue from this, then I don't need to like look for investors and things like that in the app. I can just do whatever I want and remain like a solo developer for as long as possible, which is what I want, because I feel like that's going to be best in terms of like how I'll be able to make my own decisions. If someone comments on a video saying like, oh, actually the matching function or matching algorithm sucks, then I can literally within a day make a change, update it, and that's going to be way better than having like a, I don't know, board of people that you'll have to like answer to and bring up decisions with, and everything just moves slower the more people are involved, I think. Even though that's kind of counterintuitive. I think that maybe there's a point where, okay, here's my theory. When you increase the team, like the size of a team, I think there's like a, well, how would this work? Well, I think there's basically a point where you go, if you go from one person to two people, you're going to actually increase the speed of everything, like everything's going to move faster. And then you increase to three, it might even increase the speed again. But it's sort of like this curve that like starts going up and then it's like slows down, and then all of a sudden it goes back down, because, and then it goes even further down when, so like, let's say that it starts here, it goes up when you increase the amount of developers, and then all of a sudden you get to a certain point where there's like too many developers, and then the progress slows, and then you add more and more people, and then the more people that you add, the slower it gets, and all of a sudden you're like way below where you started, because there's so many decisions that have to be made, and each decision has to be like voted on or agreed upon, and it just means that everything takes longer. So to some degree, I think increasing a team can increase the speed, but any decision, even if you're just two people, any decision that has to be made, you two have to like agree on it. Whereas now I don't have to agree with anyone. I can just do my own thing, which I really like. All right, we're gonna test this in the next video and see if whatever this put out works. But thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.